Welcome back, focused learners. If you love getting straight to the core of complex topics and value efficient, structured learning, you are exactly in the right place. Today on The Explainer, we're unpacking a massive, global shift in how human beings manufacture, well, almost everything, from the fuel you put in your car to the medicine sitting right there in your cabinet. I am absolutely thrilled to walk you through this because it's fundamentally changing our world. We're going to break down the science and the real-world application of industrial biotechnology. So I want to start by asking you something. What if the world's most powerful factories were completely invisible? When we hear the word factory, we usually picture these towering smokestacks, massive steel assembly lines, and heavy machinery just pumping out exhaust. But I really want you to challenge that traditional idea today. What if the most efficient, hardest working factories on the planet are actually microscopic? Because as we're about to see, microscopic organisms are quietly, continuously working to save our planet. All right, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The invisible factory. 2. Meet the tiny heroes. 3. Powering a greener world. 4. Cleaning up our mess. 5. The reality check. And finally, 6. The bio-based future. Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the invisible factory. Industrial biotechnology. Now, you'll also frequently hear this referred to as white biotechnology in the scientific community. They're basically interchangeable. By definition, this is the application of biological systems, specifically microorganisms like bacteria, yeast, fungi, and their enzymes, to sustainably manufacture industrial products. It's this incredible blend of biology and chemical engineering. Instead of relying on extreme heat, high pressure, and harsh toxic chemicals to force materials to change, we're literally recruiting nature's own processes to do the heavy lifting and manufacturing for us. And the paradigm shift we are talking about here is stark. It's night and day. Traditional chemical processes are notoriously high in pollution, they demand intense amounts of energy, and they are heavily reliant on finite fossil fuels. On the other hand, biological processes offer the exact opposite. They're inherently eco-friendly, they save massive amounts of energy because they just operate at normal everyday temperatures, and they run entirely on renewable resources. It is quite literally nature stepping in to replace our toxic factories. Section 2, meet the tiny heroes. So who exactly is running these new biological assembly lines? Well, one of the most vital components of white biotechnology is enzyme technology. I want you to think of enzymes as microscopic scissors, with each pair perfectly tailored for a highly specific job. Amylase breaks down starch, protease snips apart proteins, lipase slices right through fats. And the industrial applications of these, they're absolutely everywhere. In fact, you likely interact with these every single day. These exact enzymes are put into your household laundry detergent to hunt down and break apart specific food and sweat stains, and they do it without needing boiling hot water or harsh bleach. Alongside those enzymes, we have fermentation technology. Now, humanity has used this for millennia, but modern engineering has completely perfected it. The process is elegantly simple. Step 1, we provide a raw material like plant-derived glucose. Step 2, we introduce a living microorganism like yeast. The yeast feeds on that glucose, and through its natural metabolic process, it outputs highly useful industrial products, in this specific case, ethanol and carbon dioxide. This simple biological loop is scaled up to create everything from alcohol, like beer and wine, all the way to life-saving antibiotics. Section 3, powering a greener world. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we shift from the micro level to the macro level. We've seen the micro stuff, the yeast and the enzymes. But how does this actually scale up to reshape massive global industries? The answer starts with energy. Industrial biotechnology directly reduces our global dependency on fossil fuels by producing renewable biofuels, things like bioethanol, biodiesel, and biogas. By substituting petroleum with these biological alternatives, we can significantly lower global greenhouse gas emissions. We are effectively growing our fuel rather than drilling for it, which creates a closed carbon loop that is vastly superior for our atmosphere. And hey, it's not just fuel. It's the physical materials we use every single day. Look, we are currently facing a massive global plastic pollution crisis, mostly because petrochemical plastics take centuries to break down. Biotechnology solves this by creating bioplastics. We're now manufacturing packaging materials, incredibly safe medical implants, and agricultural films entirely from biological sources. The crucial takeaway here, they are biodegradable. We get the convenience of plastic without leaving a permanent environmental scar. Furthermore, even the everyday chemicals we consume are getting a massive upgrade. Things like citric acid for flavorings, acetic acid, amino acids, and even the vitamins you might take with your breakfast. Historically, synthesizing these required really harsh chemical reactions. But now, microorganisms act as clean, miniature chemical plants, producing these exact same valuable compounds much cleaner and way more efficiently than before. Section 4, cleaning up our mess. So, we've seen how biotechnology can prevent future damage by making production cleaner. But what about the damage humanity has already caused? This is where bioremediation comes in. It's where we actively deploy our tiny heroes to literally clean up our mess. It is just awe-inspiring that we have identified and cultivated specific bacteria that literally eat and break down toxic pollutants. We use them in massive wastewater treatment plants to purify water before it goes back into rivers. We deploy them into the ocean to digest devastating oil spills, and we use them to detoxify harsh industrial waste, turning dangerous runoff into harmless byproducts. Honestly, nature is the ultimate recycler. So, the crucial point is transitioning to Section 5, the reality check. While all of this sounds like a perfect magic bullet, we really need to look at the full picture here to be objective. First, let's summarize those undeniable advantages. Why are we pushing so hard for a global bio-based economy? Well, because the long-term benefits are just staggering. We get eco-friendly production methods. We get drastically lower energy consumption since we don't need that extreme heat. We see vastly reduced greenhouse gas emissions, and over the long run, because it uses renewable resources rather than depleting finite oil reserves, it is incredibly cost-effective. But here's the transparent reality check. Transitioning to these systems, it's really hard. The initial investment costs to build massive biological reactors are sky high. Biology is also super sensitive. Enzymes have limited stability, and they can just break down if the temperature or the acidity isn't maintained perfectly. Furthermore, the sheer engineering difficulty of scaling up, taking a process that works flawlessly in a tiny lap flask and making it work in a 100,000-gallon industrial vat, is immense. It requires highly advanced technology and some seriously specialized expertise. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final section, Section 6, the bio-based future. Science never stands still, right? And cutting-edge innovation is already working to overcome those very limitations we just talked about. The future of the invisible factory is breathtaking. We're moving into advanced enzyme engineering, modifying these microscopic scissors to be way stronger and more stable. Through synthetic biology, we are literally designing custom microorganisms from scratch to do specific jobs. But perhaps the most exciting part is the integration with artificial intelligence. AI is now being used to model and optimize these highly complex biological processes, solving those massive scale-up difficulties. This amazing combination of AI and biology pushes us closer and closer to truly carbon-neutral manufacturing and next-generation biomaterials. I want to leave you with this final thought. We've spent centuries exploiting nature to fuel our industrial progress. But now, as AI and synthetic biology merge with nature's invisible factories, we are finally learning to partner with it instead. So think about the objects around you right now, the fuel in your car, the clothes on your back. How will a truly bio-based economy reshape your future? Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.